So I'll give you a little bit of an update on what's happening in Austin to start with tonight, but we'll get into the numbers. We'll get into the expectations for the coming week. We'll get into some discussions of Xiaomi over in China with their new product that's coming out. Yeah, we'll talk about a bunch of things, but let's go ahead and start off with Austin. If you didn't listen to my video earlier today, everything's going just fine. I didn't see any really significant surprises in terms of the way that the cars are operating. And so far as I know, there's been no hiccups or problems. The folks, the safety drivers, which are some people calling them safety drivers, they should really be called safety riders because they're basically just bumps on a log that are sitting in the front seat on the driver's side, I mean the passenger side, and they have no reason to and should never ever touch the wheel from that position or jump across to hit the brakes. I don't think it'd be valuable at all. So no, they are in no way, shape, or form participating in the drive itself. And in fact, they're not really even answering questions when the passengers in the back seats are asking for some pertinent things, but they're saying, it's not really my job. So anyway, that's what we had learned in the first. If you want to go back and check out that video, I go into some more detail. But then we have some guessing games. So there was 112 rides in the first hour. Now, if you got 112 rides in the first hour and you're doing 4 rides an hour, which makes sense, about 15 minutes of ride counting time to pick up and everything. I think that's about all you could count on. If you divide 4 into 112, you're going to get, 25 to 30. And there's another stat sitting on the screen. You can see the screen and the kind of the operations room. And it looked like it was saying there was 35 cars operational. Now, that would make sense if you got 112 rides. So 35 cars would be a lot more than the 10 to 20 that they were talking about. There was also conversations that there was 60 cars overall in the area available to go out. Also, a video I saw just a little while ago where one of the community members, I forget exactly who it was in a vehicle that didn't have the markings on the side. So where there was 60 ready to go, is it possible that they could have deployed all 60 and then needed even more and brought in some that didn't say Robotaxi on them? I'm not sure. Anyway, whatever the case may be, apparently everything was going fine. People were, averaging around, just a few minutes for pickups. Everybody was very happy with the rides, describing it as being very much like what they are expecting in terms of 13.9.2. They also had a special price today, which was $4.20 a ride. The geofenced area is about 6 to 7 miles wide by 2 to 3 miles high, or however you want to look at that. That's the geofenced area, which is about half of the area that currently Waymo is taking. And so it looks like they could have about 10 to 20,000 rides over the first 9 days. And they're going about 18 hours a day right now. They're shutting down for 6 hours at night from midnight to 6. So, okay, those are the things that I know right now that maybe I did or didn't say at my show just a few hours ago. AJ is talking about Xiaomi. He got a chance. He's over apparently in China. Got a chance to drive the new YU7. And this is a vehicle, their other product, I think maybe it's the YU3. Anyway, their other product is given, some pretty good numbers, sold some pretty good numbers, competes with the Model 3. The YU7 would compete with the Model Y. And so he's wondering, how well will it compete? He says, as of this writing, there's no pricing yet, so we don't know if it's going to be higher or lower. We do know that it has some specs that are superior. For instance, it is going to have a lot more miles, of range. And of course, that means it's going to have a much bigger battery. And if it's going to have a much bigger battery, well, guess what? Yeah, it does weigh a lot more. Okay, so let's see. Big picture. Tesla clearly moved on from autos to an AI future, which is evidenced by the very high sustained multiple and muted investor reaction. People are not paying any attention to the numbers anymore. They're all looking at what's going to happen with Robotaxi. The auto market will remain very challenged for the foreseeable future since there's no mechanism which could realistically ease the competitive pressure on a global scale. So everywhere in the world, the competition is stressing out profit margins. It says as long as the auto is not materially deteriorating from current sales and margins, there's currently no evidence that it would. Investors will be focused on the robo-rides. Now he compares the YU7 is the hottest vehicle, ranks #1 in search interest. Usually it's the Model Y. The maker of the YU7, Xiaomi, has been exceptionally successful with their first product. Oh, it's called the SU7. This one's called the YU7. And so despite their success, Xiaomi is exposed to some backlash. They are accused of using cheap components. Xiaomi called it a smear campaign. And in AJ's testing, he could not detect any essence or signs of poor quality, but he also couldn't take the car apart. There was one exception. Most competing vehicles I tested this week had an additional seal at the lower vehicle door edge. This provides for improved noise reduction, and Tesla doesn't have that seal either. But he says it comes at an extra cost, and so Xiaomi doesn't have it. Tesla doesn't either. He says, overall, the YU7 drives well and is clearly optimized for the relatively slow city driving in China, which is characterized by very little speeding, and driving speed is mostly significantly below 60. The slower speed driving makes the significantly larger weight of the YU7 less noticeable. Excluding autonomous driving features, there is arguably no detectable gap between Xiaomi and Tesla's vehicle software. Xiaomi's styling choices, lower height, cause meaningfully less cargo space. So there's less cargo space on the Xiaomi. It's really apparently not nearly as quick as a Tesla. He didn't mention that, but that's kind of what he was saying. Is much heavier than a Tesla, but it gets more mileage. The lower roof line combined with the longer vehicle length makes it less SUV looking than the Model Y. And the people I talked to thought it looked better than a Model Y. That's a pretty small, he would need a bigger test, I think, before we'd know for sure. Although there are many features EV and auto enthusiasts might discuss, the key pros and cons were this. YU7 Pro's superior range, 41% more, significantly faster charging, 10 to 80% in 15 minutes versus 27 minutes, styling and new factor, so they're a completely new vehicle. And then the cons would be significantly less cargo space, 19% less cargo space, significantly higher weight, 21%, meaningfully less efficient, 9.4% by compare less 9.4 more consumption of energy, and significantly heavier, 21%, which with the negative impact on driving dynamics. Now he says it's got this, no discernible difference with regard to the IU, but I think the interface, but gee whiz, I bet it doesn't have all the cool stuff that Tesla does. I'm just guessing. All right, then we have this from Autoblog talking about Tesla insurance, a subject we rarely talk about here, but which could have a very big impact on the future of Tesla as they get further and further into the robotaxi business, because they're going to have to self-insure or get insurance for that. And their experience that they're having right now with insurance is going to be helping on that. Anyway, in May 2025, Tesla's insurance arm posted a combined ratio of 121%. That means that for every dollar in premiums collected, it paid out $1.21 in claims. And most insurers break out into a profuse, I am going to lose my job sweat if that number nudges above 95%. Elon Musk pitched Tesla Insurance as a subsidiary of Tesla as a missing piece of the Tesla ecosystem. He argued Tesla owners now crave more than torque. They want their insurance bill to shrink as fast as their 0 to 60 time. So in this, they say that Tesla is, when you compare it to the industry average, the loss ratio shows what portion of premiums is paid out in claims, and the combined ratio here is above 100%. You're losing money on every single policy you sell, even before you count the cost of keeping the lights on, the overhead. So Tesla, that means underwriting losses of $42 million in the first 9 months of 2024. It might not look like a lot, by insurance industry standards, Teslas are still bleeding profusely. So anyway, that's interesting to know that the insurance company is bleeding profusely. There may be reasons for that. Maybe they're hoping to gain converts and then later on make money. I don't know what the plan is, but I thought that was worth talking about. All right, let's see. Moving on. That's a long article. It just goes on and on about stuff. Yeah, here we go. Well, holy mackerel. You wouldn't have wanted to hear all of that. This is Randy Kirk. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify, hit Patreon and join, or hit joining up here on YouTube. That'd be great. By the way, I'm forgetting to mention people. Somebody gave a very nice tip today on my Iran video in the early morning, which if you didn't look and see the Iran video, you should definitely go back and check that out. I did have a couple of people joining Patreon. I've got to get those names out there. Okay, clearly the biggest impact on market tomorrow is likely to be the status of the Iran war. But from what I've seen so far, the impact is not that big. It's not really happening. It's not really a big deal. The price of oil is up, but it was up more. It's come back a little bit. The stock market was down more, and it's been picking back up a little bit. And now it's exactly 5 o'clock here in California. So I'll take a really quick look and see if I can pull up the Robinhood and see what's happening with Tesla in the early going after this really good day in Austin. Let's see if there's any change. We're at 30/21/57. I would say there's no real change. It's not showing up or down. I can't remember what the close was. Well, I guess I could go look at that easily enough. We closed at 322.16. So no real change based on Robotaxi's successes today. In the early going, let's see. So right now, I think the market is probably figuring what I'm figuring. I think that the Iran deal is over. I think that all the things that Iran is saying right now are bluff and bluster. I don't think they have any shot at doing anything more. I think that that Trump has a massive win on this one. He showed steadiness. He showed resolve. He showed willingness to do what was necessary, and also that he didn't want to, and that he offered peace immediately, no follow-up, blew up the things that he said he was going to blow up, and said, "Now, let's stop. Let's quit." I think people are going to like that. We'll see what his numbers look like tomorrow. So there's other things on the list of things that people are interested in, and I'm thinking that maybe there's not going to be a lot of interest. I think this is going to blow over. It's just not going to be a thing in a day or two. Nobody's going to care about it anymore. And I think that there's not going to be any problems in the Straits of Hormuz. If you want to listen to my video from this morning that I did on Iran, it just 50% of China's oil goes through the Straits of Hormuz. I don't think China is going to allow Iran to close down the Straits. I just don't think it's going to happen. All right. Okay. We also have what's also going to be big this week, I think, is the big, beautiful bill. The budget bill is being negotiated. Just 10 days to go. It's going to need to be finalized. The Senate's going to need to get it done this week, get it back over to the House. What they do is they have the meeting where they reconcile the reconciliation, but they have to reconcile the two bills. That's going to take a few days, and then get the Senate and House to vote on it again, and then send it to the president. I mean, they got to start moving. So far, I looked up and I tried to see if there was any articles speaking about it. So far, I'm not sure there's anything slowing it down, but it's going to be important to get it passed, and it should move the markets a little bit if it does pass upwards. It should be a positive. I did see a couple of articles today that were talking about the technicals on the S&P or the overall equities market. They were tending to suggest that the V correction on this 20% down, correcting so rapidly and in a V way, means that there's no reason necessarily to go down and test with a 50% correction and go back and test, or go back all the way down and test the 20%, that we can move up from here. I've heard other people that on the fundamentals say that we're going to move up from here, including Tom Lee and others who feel like we're going to be seeing all-time highs shortly, and I think could be this week. We got those, we'll talk about the PCE in a minute. All right. We've got the ongoing tariff negotiations. I think that has been lost in the chaos. I think people are not really paying a lot of attention. I think everybody's settled on the idea that the tariffs are going to be between 10 and 15%, and that everybody's going to eventually just get along on that 10 to 15% deal. The immigration fight is also losing headline status, even though there's going to be another No King's Day on July 4th. I think that they could be they could have a great day. They could have a lot of people turn out. I think it's going to be, I don't think anybody cares. In fact, one could argue that the content implementations of the president's promised changes to government in the U.S. creates too many headlines. There's just too many headlines. Every day, Trump is putting out something that is, taking care of one of the promises that he made to the American people. And as he does that, it's really hard for the Dems to be chasing one after another. Chase this one, then chase that one, then I'll come up with some kind of a strategy on this one. And all of the strategies are no. All the strategies are, oh, that was terrible. Why did you do that? No, you can't do that. No, you shouldn't do that. Oh, Obama said it was okay. Oh, Clinton said it was okay. Oh, both Clintons said it was okay. Oh, we built all kinds of detention cages during Obama. We deported millions of people during Obama and during Biden. Oh, but we can't do it during Trump. Somehow there's a difference. Anyway, so I think it's gonna fade away. We have trimmed the recent bullish numbers a bit last week, so we're down a little bit below those. We were like within 2% of all-time highs. But I think these economic numbers, as they come out this week, I think they're going to still be a little soft in terms of the economy. And then, of course, we'll get into the other number on Friday. So what are we going to be looking at this week? Well, let's start. And by the way, for some reason, the pundits have been unwilling to give their numbers quite often this week. But anyway, I'll give mine. First, we got on Monday, we have the S&P Flash U.S. Services PMI. It was 53.7 in June. In May. In June. I think that's May. So we've got June numbers coming out. They're saying that'll be at 53. I think that would be so services number going down. No, I think the services number will stay even, maybe go up a little bit. And then the manufacturing, they've got that coming down a little bit from 52 to 51.5. I'm tending to see a little bit more softness in manufacturing, so that might be about right. Existing home sales were 4 million last month. They're thinking that comes down to 3.95, and those are May numbers, way in the rearview mirror. So 3.995 million in May, I think, is very likely, something around there. Case-Shiller then comes out with their price index number. Last month, it went up 4.1%. Nobody's guessing on that one. I'm expecting that one to be even a little softer, maybe down around 3.5. Consumer confidence numbers, they had those at 98 last time. This is the consumer confidence and the consumer sentiment. Consumer sentiment had popped up. This one is at 98. They're thinking it's going to 99.1, popping up like consumer sentiment did. So we'll see if that happens. Then we've got Fed Chair Powell on Tuesday testifying before the House Financial Services Committee. That's always a potential bomb, not to mention bombs. Anyway, on Wednesday, we got new home sales. They were 743,000 last month. They think that comes down a lot to 689,000. I think that's probably a little too harsh. I think they'll come down, but maybe not that much. We've got advanced trade balance in goods coming out on Thursday. No, that's got to be, is that still Wednesday? No, Thursday. I'm sorry. Advanced U.S. trade balance in goods. Last month, it was 87.6 negative. And they're not making a guess on that one. I'm going to guess that that is a much better number, that our imports are up and our exports are down. And so we'll see a good number there. Advanced retail inventories don't care. Advanced wholesale inventories don't care. They've been almost close to zero in terms of changes there. Initial jobless claims last week was 245,000. They think that goes up to 248,000. I won't argue with them, but I don't think they know. Durable goods, because they're never right. Durable goods orders, a major category that I've been watching, down 6.3% last month. They're thinking that comes back up 6.5%. That would be pretty huge. We'll see. And then they got the core, I think, which takes out transportation. That was down 1.3% last month, and they're not making a guess on that. So what I'm thinking is that car sales are still down. Durables, I think, are still down. I'd be shocked to see that it goes up 6.5%, but I could be wrong. We have pending home sales as the pending home sales, which were down negative 6.3. They think that's going to be flat. I don't think that's going to be flat. I think that's going to be down. GDP, the revised second revision, the first revision, second revision, I'm sorry. There's the first number, which was 0.3 negative. The first revision was 0.2 negative, and they're not giving us a guess on the second revision, and neither am I, because I have no clue. Consumer sentiment. So you got consumer sentiment, consumer confidence. They said that was going to go up, just like consumer sentiment did. On this, they've got consumer sentiment at 60.5 2 weeks ago, and thinking it'll come down to 59.5. Why would they be guessing that these are going to go in opposite directions? Makes no sense to me at all. And besides that, this is a revision of their first number. Why do they think the revision is going to be that far off? I mean, that's a full point. Personal income, that was up 0.8% last month. It's been up, month after month. Shocking. Every single month, completely blowing away what the pundits are expecting. Their thing is only going to go up 0.3, which would still be a great number. And who knows, maybe it'll be another bigger number than they're expecting. This is, by the way, these are on Friday. Personal income, I didn't give you I did. Personal income is, they're expecting, it went up also 0.8. I'm sorry. That was personal income. I just gave you that. Personal spending only went up 0.2%, and personal spending has been real nice and flat. People have been putting money into savings. Some people think that's indicative of people getting scared and wanting to save their money. Maybe it is, but they're thinking personal spending will hang in at 0.2% like it was last time. Then we have if these next four numbers are what I give you right now, the Fed should lower the interest rate now. Okay. But of course they won't, or they should do it in July, but they probably won't. But here you go. PCE index, the headline number, 0.1%. It was 0.1% last month. I think it was negative the month before that. PCE year over year, 2.1% last month. They think it goes up to 2.3%. Either number, I'll take either number, 2.3, 2.1. This is including energy. So the energy prices have been coming up. I think the energy prices are going to go way down over the next 60 days, over the next 30 days, maybe even over the next 2 weeks as this Iran thing is over. And I think with the Iran thing over, it'll allow the president to really jump up and down on Putin. We'll see. Core PCE index, 0.1% after 0.1% last month. The core PCE year over year, 2.5 last month. They think it's going to go up to 2.6. I'll take 2.6. If those are the numbers, that's will make 4 months or 3 months on all of them, CPI, PPI, and PCE, all in great shape. And it makes no sense that they're continuing to keep these interest rates where they are. It's just completely nonsense. Okay, I'll continue to beat that drum, and we'll see if anybody pays attention. Probably not. Maybe you will, and 10,000 other people that listen here, but that's it. Okay, let's go ahead to, oops, I'm looking at totally the wrong thing here. Let's go back and look at Tesla again real quick. Still 321. That is actually down $1.16 from Friday after a great day in Austin. So why is it down? It's actually went down further than that, and it's now coming back up. So who knows where it'll be tomorrow morning. Let's go ahead, and it may be partially indicative of what's happening in markets. Let's go ahead and look at those markets. Let's start with bonds, up 0.8%. So a little bit of that would be the opposite of a flight to safety. So that would suggest people that aren't flying, making a flight to safety. We've got oil right now is up $2. It was up more than that. It was up, well, not much more, but it was up a little bit more than that. So it is relaxed a little bit. We're still only, though, at 75.85. That's where we were last week. You got Brent is up more than that. It is up, it's now at 79. You can remember some days last week, it was only $1 difference, but now it's the full $3, but that's normal. Natural gas up 1.4%, sitting at 3.9, but remember it had popped over $4 last week. We've got gold up 20 cents in the pre-market at 33.85. No flight to safety there. Gold is actually down now 30 cents. Silver up 0.02%. That's flat. Copper up 0.41% at $4.81. You've got the dollar mixed, and you've got Bitcoin down 1792, but it was down a lot more. It was under 100,000 for a while. Now it's back up over 100,000 to 100,667. Okay, what about equities? So, they're down, but listen to this. I mean, the Dow is down 162 or 0.38%. S&P down 26 or 0.43%, and the NASDAQ down 122 or 0.56%. So basically, you're looking at the equities are doing none of these markets at this point, in my opinion, are really responding to what's happening in the Iran-Israel situation. And why would that be? That would be because they believe it's over. And I believe it's over. And I do believe that we'll see oil sliding back down rapidly. So if you want to make an investment decision based on oil coming down rapidly, go for it. But this is not investment advice. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm right on that one. But I think we will see a big retraction in the price of oil. Okay. All right. So let's do some reminders here. Later on tonight, an amazing video, just an incredible video. That's assuming you haven't seen what I know, and I think a lot of you have not. And so I'm going to be providing you with 4 more reasons to invest in Tesla, in case you're not already all in, or in case you're wondering if you should get out. I'm going to give you 4 really good reasons that you probably haven't seen, and I promise you it's going to be worth the watch. So come on back at 7:45, and you can take a look at that. Then that's it for today. Regular scheduling tomorrow, I think. Everybody's traveling. You got Larry Goldberg and Brian White both up in Muskegon, probably have both left Muskegon at this point and are headed on their way back down to Austin. I'm not 100% sure if Brian White's going to go to Austin or not. If he's not going to Austin, he's driving home. Don't know where any of these people will be tomorrow, but I think both of them will try to do a show tomorrow. So we'll see if we can find both of them somewhere out there in the world. Okay, so that's what's coming up. Also, as promised, you should definitely go back and look at this morning's show. If you didn't look at it already, my show on the Iran conflict, all the information that I've given you, that the reasons that there's no chance in the world that the Straits of Hormuz are going to be closed. Did I say Hormuz? Hormuz, yes. There's no chance that Iran is going to close those straits, and I give you all the reasons why, and also the reasons why they're probably not going to do anything. They're basically going to do a little bluff and bluster, and then they're going to be out of stuff. I don't think much is going to happen, and I think that's what the market is telling you as well. All right, so I'll put that card up, and then a little while ago I did an analysis of what's happening at Austin, a little more details about that, as well as some deeper dives into the whole Robotaxi thing in terms of where things go from here. I think that was also quite good. Not my stuff. Some of it was from Phil Beisel. So you know how good his stuff is. Well, he put some stuff up. I relied on that for some of my sources. Okay, that's what I saw. So both of those cards, you can see those from previously today, and that's it. Oh, one last thing. We do have to go back and see if Tesla has moved. There we go. Now we're in the green. 50 cents into the green. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow on all of that, won't it? It's been great talking to you.